Apollo Hospitals reported record numbers. They saw a profit jump of 82% and revenues of 15%. We have with us the lady at the top, Suneeta Reddy, Managing Director at Apollo Hospitals, joining us to review those numbers for us. Suneeta, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's start with the basic hygiene numbers. It's the first quarter of FY25. How has the year started off on revenues and margins? I do remember last year you committed to a 15% revenue growth on top line, and you've delivered in line. What were the key drivers and where did the growth come from?
It's quite ironic because all three verticals grew at 15%. So we had a revenue of 5,085 crores, and which was a revenue uplift of 15%. Our EBITDA came in at 672 crores. Again, this was very healthy, 33% EBITDA improvement. We had 305 crores of profit, which was an 83% improvement in profit. So this is consolidated Apollo Hospitals and definitely very healthy growth and profitable growth. Moving on to Apollo Health Co, which is both online and offline, we had 2,637 crores of revenue, and we had a margin of 150 crores. So, you know, it was, let me say, they brought down their cash losses and they did very well. Again, a growth of 15%. Apollo Health and Lifestyle had 331 crores of revenue, with an EBITDA margin of 31 crores. So clearly, I think that, you know, there is growth in revenue and growth in EBITDA and growth in profit for all three, with healthcare services profitability moving to 328 crores for the quarter.
Mrs. Reddy, I'll take your point on profitability because that number came in far better than what we were expecting. You know, your profits have gone up over 80% and we appreciate that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. At the start of this quarter and at the start of this financial year, you've given us a good sense, and of course we've seen what Apollo Hospitals has managed to pull off. Now, as we look ahead into the rest of the year and the next few years out, what is going to be the key drivers, and are you expecting, or is there room rather for improvement on the key parameters? What will drive growth for FY25 and FY26?
Yes, so there is room for improvement, and I think that what we're looking at is, you know, better asset utilization and some compression in cost to deliver better EBITDA margins. And for 24/7, you know, I think the opportunity is huge, because post a slightly quiet quarter where we had elections and a heat wave, I think they're ramping up really well. So they will be back on track to 20% growth. And in Apollo Health and Lifestyles, we are seeing diagnostics growing very fast, along with our centers of Cradle and Spectra, which opened in New Delhi, also breaking even.
Mrs. Reddy, I want you to throw some light on occupancy. Last quarter it stood at 65% from what I remember, 65-70%. Internally, where do you see occupancy stand at, and how do you plan to improve this going ahead? Also, the volume growth for inpatient and outpatient, and the number that you'd like to see being achieved on volume growth by the end of this year.
So clearly, you know, in terms of occupancy, we are at 68%. We were at 62% last year. There has been a volume growth of 11% that has really led to this. And at metros, you know, metro hospitals are at 70% occupancy. So I think we do have operating leverage, you know, where we can improve occupancies in our tier 2 as well as in the metro cities, and therefore reach a level of 70% within this year.
And that would be comfortable, or would you aspire to do more?
So, of course, we'll aspire to do more. But when you're doing 70, you're probably doing 75 on weekdays. So,
wow.
So we're really looking at this. We've lowered our loss. So we will continue in this journey and maximize asset utilization.
Suneeta, I'm glad you bring that up, because I was listening to your previous interview, which was, of course, last quarter, where you've said that ARPOB are improving because you've managed to reduce your hour loss. Now, this, of course, was what we heard from you last quarter. Going into this, the rest of the financial year, where does our loss stand at, and where do you see the average room occupancy stand at right now, or average bed occupancy at?
Yes, so our loss, I don't think we can expect to see a further reduction in our loss. I think our ARPOB will grow because, we do believe that case mix will improve in the next quarter. This has been, after all, a summer quarter where elective surgeries have been a bit muted.
Right. Let's talk about the margins in the hospital segment, Suneeta. This is a high margin business. You've also hired 150 doctors in FY24, and how is that expected to impact or look going ahead? I mean, maintaining a 25% or aspiring to be at a 25% margin is very, very healthy and street pleasing for sure.
Yes, we're very much on track to achieve that.
So in terms of other verticals, in the last quarter, you talked about the tie-up with the insurance broking firm Bupa. Has that already kicked off? Is the ball rolling over there? And also, over the next 2 to 3 years, are you looking to doing more tie-ups in order to just simply improve operational efficiency and bring in revenue from different sources in that sense?
No, so we've not yet launched the insurance broking, and I'm hopeful that next quarter we'll be able to do so. But otherwise, Apollo Health and Lifestyle, we can expect to see good growth coming from it. Pharmacies offline has grown by about 12%, slightly muted again because seasonality, but you will see good traction going forward.
Suneeta, you've talked about your very ambitious plans of adding, 2,300 beds over the next 2 to 3 years. I know there was an acquisition that was made in Pune, which I'm assuming, or we'll talk about whether it turns revenue accretive. Is your plan on track to achieve that? Because we also know that assets available are not that many really, right? Will you be able to achieve that 2,500 bed target in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yes. We have made 3 acquisitions and we have 2 brownfield projects. So yes, we're very much on target. In financial year 25-26, you will see 2 of our assets coming online. We'll have 1,000 beds online by then.
Right. Suneeta, also the oncology business has been growing very well for Apollo Hospitals. Are you looking at acquisitions in that space? And I know this because you're quite passionate about this vertical from what I understand. Or would you be looking to grow that organically? What sort of numbers should we be expecting?
Currently healthy organic, and it's also the fact that, in each of our 45 hospitals, we now have a clear vertical that delivers on oncology. So we have invested in CapEx and we do have the full range of oncology services.
Well, good luck, Suneeta. We'd love to, of course, have a more extensive conversation with you, hopefully mid-quarter, to get a better understanding of your business. But good luck and congratulations. It's been a good quarter. We hope the good ride continues from now on.